What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Jay Weezy. Welcome to Jay Weezy's World. It is a beautiful Saturday out here in Phoenix. It is October 25th, 11:40 in the morning. I got the headband on. I'm in the whip, so that means I'm headed to the gym right now. I'm feeling good, feeling hydrated, ready to get active and drop some of this weight, fill out this frame, and look even prettier by the day. So today's back and biceps, and with the bicep workout, with the back workout, today's going to be a heavy emphasis on lats. Widen out that frame a little bit. Again, my goal is, as I continue to lose weight, is I don't want to fill in the frame as much as I can. I didn't want to go just spam cardio, drop weight, drop weight, drop weight, drop weight, and I'm losing that, because you're technically still burning the muscle too if you're just spamming out that cardio. So I want to get in my resistance training, I want to get in my cardio, and make sure, again, I fill out this frame as much as I can, because there's gonna be loose skin. If I get to my goal where I want to be, I shouldn't even say if, when I get to my goal and where I want to be, there's gonna be some loose skin. It's one of those things that I don't necessarily like to talk about too much, because it's like you kind of get intimidated on what that's gonna look like, but I really don't even care. That's just kind of vanity. I just want to be healthy, man. Like, I want to go ahead, drop this weight, get into a position where I have some muscle on me, I'm in shape, I can jog, and I just am overall in better health. So with that, again, it's going to be lat focused. So you'll notice that today I'm not really going to hit rear delts. Usually I hit rear delts on my shoulder day and my back day, but today I'm going to focus pretty much on lats and lower back. So I want to strengthen up that spine, make sure my posture is good as I get older, and make sure that I, again, thicken out those lats. And so for the biceps, I want to make sure I always intentionally hit that outer head, the short head, and the long head, as well as the brachialis, to make sure I thicken up the biceps. So, the goal is, again, as I start to drop in weight and I actually start to show some peaks in my my biceps, because biceps honestly is one of my weaker points as far as from a strength perspective. Like, it's just, I've never really been able to be that person where I have the straight bar with the 45 on each side, which for me, to be the size that I am, and when I flex and I feel my tricep, my horseshoe, and my bicep, I feel like the bodybuilding is happening. I just need to get the weight down to really peak out those muscles and be proud of the work I'm putting in. So, there's no sense in my mind to just lift and lift and lift. Cool, that's good, endurance. But I want to see it. I want to shed the weight. That way I can go ahead and see it. So when I get to the beach, I can wear a nice little, not like tank top or anything, but I want to feel confident. I want to feel good. It's those little things, man. You put in the work and you want to be able to get out and, feel good. So, yeah, I'm going to focus on the outer head, the inner head, and the brachialis. And again, I'm no trainer, so let me not use just the technical terms like that, but essentially, if you want to look it up, brachialis is going to go ahead and be that thickener within the bicep itself. So you have, again, your outer head, your inner head, and then you have your brachialis, which kind of helps make the bicep itself look more dense. And so, you have movements like hammer curls, cross-body curls, that are really going to strengthen up that middle part of between the short head and the long head of the bicep. So, but yeah, feeling good. The work week this week has been crazy. Blessed and thankful. I know the world right now, there's a lot of people that are unemployed, so let me not ever talk negatively on having the blessing to have a job and the ability to be able to work. I work with good people that I like being around. I'm thankful. So, work isn't necessarily work, because I get to be around people that I enjoy, talking with and, building community with, what have you. So the content, I have a new schedule, so the content should get back on track ideally this week, starting today. So hold me accountable. I know some of you guys check it out on a consistent basis, and I truly appreciate that, because to be such a small channel and get the support that I do, whether if it's on YouTube or TikTok, like the community that I'm working with right now. I truly appreciate you guys, and I appreciate the support because I feel that it's genuine, and it's also reciprocated the other way. I make sure that, you know, I show you guys love too as much as I can, so it's very much appreciated. But go ahead, get this back and bicep workout in. You ever just get excited about hitting the gym? Like you just feel like you know you're about to have a good workout. But then on the opposite side of it, sometimes when you feel like you know, don't feel as good and you feel like the workout's gonna be terrible and then you end up killing it. So until you get in, you really don't know, right? So I'm hoping the gym's not too busy. Saturday mid-afternoon, or you know, late morning, so shouldn't be too crowded. But we'll go ahead and see. I'll check you guys out here in a minute. All right, let's go ahead and hit up these wings and cook them up extra crispy. So, as I mentioned earlier, it is back in by day with a emphasis on lats today. Now, the gym pretty empty today. Super happy with that. You know, it's your typical late morning Saturday, so it's pretty empty. And I definitely like to get your guys' feedback on the angles, and definitely feel free to critique anything that I'm doing inside the comment section. I am an open book. Love to get some feedback. So with that, I'm starting off with an uh, overhand lat pull downs. Now I am knocking out 2 warm-up sets of 100 pounds because I think people kind of get curious, you know, that are beginning, like what do I start with as far as a warm-up, and then what do I use as a work-in. And so today what I'm doing is 100 pounds when it comes to my warm-up, and then 160 pounds when it comes to my work-in sets. Usually I'm working with about 135, 145 when it comes to my work-in sets. But again, my goal and focus over these next few weeks is to just lower the rep range a little bit, lower the sets, and is really focusing on, you know, whatever I am doing it, I'm just giving all my strength and getting a nice workout in, just to kind of fill out my frame as I continue to try to lose weight. Now, I did incorporate my wrist wraps today because I wanted to take out the grip aspect of the lat pull down. Now, could I have handled the weight without them? Yeah, but I just really wanted to focus on the squeeze through my lats and the control coming up. So now, I don't know about you guys, but one thing about these particular wrist wraps that I have, which I do love, but they feel a little bit too long, where I feel like when you go to wrap them around, they're so long where you got to like grip and grip and grip and grip and kind of like get them in a place where, you know, I like to just be able to grab something and get things going. I'm not really impatient as a person, but sometimes I'm like, come on. So either I'm going to cut them a little bit shorter, or I just might invest into some different wrist straps, but we'll see, or some, pulling straps, sorry. But we'll see as we move forward. But I was feeling very good when it comes to each one of these sets right now. And one thing I do is I do stretch out my lats between every single set because, as the experts say, you should stretch out your lats, you know, as often as you can to open up that fascia, which is the sheet that is over your, you know, lats and your muscle, to kind of help lengthen it a little bit so you can kind of fill out. Whether it's true or not, we'll see once I kind of get down to size and see what my back looks like. Now, my goal was 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. And the one thing I want to call out right here is that last rep. I really don't want to just like get any swing that's unnecessarily. So I dropped down the weight a little bit on this last set and knocked out a few reps. Again, pulling down through my elbows and controlling as I'm coming up, because I think it's important not to just yank down, let go, come up. Like, the whole point of trying to increase the amount of volume you can lift is actually being able to control the weight, work with the weight. Now, I did move down to a different lats setup, a couple seats down. Reason being is that the one I was working on then, or the one I'm working on now, was taken, and the one I was working on just a moment ago, you can't change out the bar. And so I wanted to get in these single arm lat pull downs with a supinated grip. Um, because and I had to switch because I couldn't switch out the bar. So here I'm getting in 3 sets. My goal was about 8 to 10 repetitions, and I just want to again control the weight as I'm releasing, and then bring down, and then pull through my elbow. So again, critique me as much as you guys want. I love to hear the feedback, but I'm letting it extend my lat all the way up, and then I'm pulling down through my elbow, and I'm actually like I almost want to touch my elbow against my lat. I really want to squeeze at that bottom. That way I can feel my lat hit the inside of my arm or my elbow. Again, the whole point of doing this is to really actually build out the muscle versus just trying to gain strength. I can go ahead and sling around some weight all I want, but I really want to fill out my frame. I know I'm probably harping on that, but that's the whole point of trying to get a physique. I'm not going to be a bodybuilder. I just want to be able to get a nice physique, so that way when I do drop the weight, I got the nice frame sitting underneath me. So now I will say the second set and third set felt cleaner because I don't do single arm pull downs that often. I'm usually doing single arm rolls if I do incorporate it. But I wanted to switch things up a little bit and do single arm pull downs just to go ahead and get stretch out that lat and get things just pumped into that lat. And so I think it's important to switch things up every once in a while, not stick to just one thing, and try different variations, different angles. I mentioned this in my videos before, is that switch it up so that way you're not just doing the same thing week over week. Now if you're seeing the results, hey, continue with what you're doing. But one thing that I've recognized is that as I have gotten, more experience in the gym, hitting at different angles, I notice that, of course, there's different spots that I'm bringing up, right? Whether if it's my lat width, or if it's my delt build, if it's my, rear delts, side delts on my shoulder. So all in all, these felt really good. They beat me up a little bit, and um, I think I wanted to use these wrist wraps too to really kind of just again focus on the squeeze versus focus on the grip. The weight I was doing here wasn't crazy. It was only about I think 50 pounds that I was pulling on right here, and I felt like at the end of each set I was panting. So that's the thing I'm looking for, is that how is my body feeling after each set, and am I controlling the weight with each set? So I didn't need to drop the weight here. What you'll notice is if you see my hand, the hand that I'm not using is the one I'm going to kind of hold the seat a little bit, because I want to control my form. Because what I don't want to do is, as I'm pulling down, is twist my body. I am using the opposite hand to make sure that I stay locked into my seat and I'm not twisting my body, because what I don't want to do is incorporate my lower back. Now, some people can say that, that's a benefit. Again, I'm no professional, but whatever in my mind that I'm wanting to focus on is the predominant aspect that I'm looking to focus on, if that makes sense. Obviously, doing these type of pull downs, your overhand, your underhand, and single arm pull downs, you're going to incorporate biceps. But my focus is just the lat here if I can, and not my lower back. So just my thoughts there. Wanted to share that with you guys. Now we're going to go ahead and move over to this seated lateral row. Now I personally love this machine because you can do two different variations. You can either, as you guys see, that bar that's above, either you can control it and do an over grip and have your elbows flared out, or you could do a seated row like how I'm doing here, which this is a warm-up set. Again, I'm doing one warm-up set because I'm already pretty much warmed up from getting off the lat pull downs and the single arm. So I just wanted to fill the machine out. I don't know if you guys do that. Definitely leave your comments in the comments section. But even though I'm familiar with the machine, anytime, even though I might have already warmed up, I just do a warm-up set to kind of see how the machine is feeling, make sure the pad is in place, make sure the weight feels right. So that's just kind of my logic behind what I'm doing. Now, my goal with these was 3 sets, and then the rep range was about 8 to 10 repetitions. Typically, when I'm doing this movement, I'm doing about 12 to 15 repetitions. But again, I'm increasing the weight, which let me take a look here because I write everything down. I did 90 pounds on these lateral pulls. Again, 3 sets, 8 to 10 repetitions. And so they do kick my butt. I love having a chest assisted movements, whether if that is a T-bar row, T-bar row, or whatever it may be. And again, if you guys notice here, is that I'm using my opposite hand just to keep myself in place. That way, I'm not twisting with my back. I'm extending my lat out, letting my my wing and then my shoulder blade flare out, and then I'm pulling through with my elbow. Again, switching my hand, locking myself in place. That way I'm pulling through just with my elbow. For me, I love this machine, and I was going to do bent over rows, but machine was calling me right here, so I went ahead and I decided to use this. What's your guys' favorite lat movement outside of lat pull downs? I know dumbbell bent over rows or barbell bent over rows is something I incorporate as well, but today I went ahead and used this machine. I love bent over dumbbell rows and I love bent over barbell rows, but again, wanted to switch it up and go with this machine just because I wanted a chest supported movement. That way I can focus on the lat in the middle of my back. Went with a different angle here. Hopefully the angle is okay. I went ahead and kind of switched up a little bit. So definitely leave your comments in the comments section if it looks all right. And another thing while I am talking is I am going to go ahead and upgrade my mic here pretty soon. I want to make sure it's coming through crystal clear. And again, the goal is to actually being able to talk as I'm doing my video versus a voiceover. I just haven't gotten the mic yet. Life procrastination. So sorry guys. Hopefully the voiceover is doing service and doing its due diligence. And because I like to talk through the workout if I can. But with the music playing in the background, I'm not trying to get a copyright strike. So now moving on over to the hyperextension, I'm only going to film one set when it comes to hyperextension. Not necessarily fun, right? But I am getting in 3 sets. I usually do 15 to 20 repetitions, but today I'm doing 3 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions. So went a little bit higher on the weight. And so I believe here, if I'm correct, it was about 175 pounds. So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of an idea, nothing crazy. There's actually another hyperextension machine that's here. I'm kind of liking this one. So I'm probably going to do with that as I move forward. Now, switching on over to biceps, I'm going to do incline curls. I wanted to focus in on that long head of the bicep and the short head. I'm going to get started off with incline. Now, I went ahead again, even though I'm warmed up, I wanted to go ahead and do a warm-up set. I have a 15-pound dumbbell right here. My goal was 3 sets, 8 to 10 repetitions. I went ahead and knocked out 2 warm-up sets before I moved on to my work-in sets. Again, I wanted to get some blood pumped in with the warm-up sets and really kind of feel where my strength was because I haven't done incline barbell curls in a few weeks, and so it's kind of my logic behind that. So now I'm in my work-in set. So I went ahead and grabbed the 22.5 pound dumbbells. So that's what I'm working with here. And one thing about biceps is that like even in the first set, I get such a pump where I'm like, I kind of have to wiggle my arms afterwards. And so this first set was a little bit intense, and then as I get into the second and third set, it felt better. And what I mean by intense is I feel like I was getting tight in the first set, and I think with getting some blood into the muscle, I kind of loosened up a little bit in that second and third set. But they were all definitely hidden, and you guys know how that is. If you're somebody who does incline bicep curls, or if you haven't done them and you will do it, you will notice just having that back arched up against the bench. And when you're coming down, you're going to feel that pull of the weight on your biceps, and you can feel that stretch. And so when you're coming back up, I like to try to, if I can, pause at the top so that way I can get that peak up top and then have that stretch at the bottom. And so ideally, the angle kind of gives you guys a bit of an idea of what I mean when I say that. Now, moving on to preacher curls, again, I mentioned earlier as in my drive, biceps are one of my weakest points as far as from a strength perspective. And so, I'm not doing a ton of weight here. I'm starting off with, 90 pounds, and I'm going to pretty much stick at that. And so my goal with the preacher curls was 3 sets, 8 to 10 repetitions. And what I don't want to do is do a situation where I'm really like using my back to pull on the muscle. And so you guys will notice as I get into my third set that I'm actually going to go ahead and do a drop set. So I'm going to drop the weight from 90 pounds down one plate to 75 pounds so I can finish off the set. Because I never want, again, my goal is 8 to 10 repetitions and I'm doing 7 reps. Okay, well, let me go ahead and drop the weight and knock out my other 3 repetitions. That way I can just hit that goal that I wanted to hit. And again, typically when it comes to preacher curl, I'm doing probably around 75 comfortably. And so again, I didn't jump up to 100 or 110. I jumped up to 90 because I know how tight my biceps can get when I'm doing any type of bicep workout. So I wanted to increase it a plate, drop the range a little bit, and make sure I get a full stretch on my range of motion. So coming up all the way to the top, bringing it down at the bottom. And one thing as a bigger dude is that it can be a little bit uncomfortable when it comes to the preacher curl. So finding that good seat placement is key for me. Now this is my last bicep movement. What I'm doing here is kind of I'm lean, grabbing the bar on the other side, and I'm doing a little bit of a lean, and I'm doing cable crossover bicep curls in a supinated position. Now you can do a hammer curl position, but I'm choosing today to do a supinated position. And you guys know when it comes to cables, man, you get that stretch, that squeeze at the top, 3 sets, 8 to 10 repetitions. Now, for me, this, I'm telling you, when I was holding it at the top, you could feel the peak of the bicep. Just, it almost feels like a knot at the top of your bicep. You know what I mean by that? Like when you squeeze the top and you feel that knot, that head of the bicep really kind of peaking and putting some strain. It's one of the best feelings. And so, feeling myself, got it wheezy. So again, as I go between each set, feeling a little bit more comfortable, kind of finding my right foot placement, because the reason why I have the lean going on is so that way it's just focusing on my bicep versus if I'm standing straight up, I'm kind of using my own body weight to help facilitate and assist with that bicep curl. Where when I'm doing the lean, it is predominantly my bicep pulling that, and I'm keeping my elbow tucked in and pulling up just with my arm to go ahead and knock out these sets. Now, with that said, guys, this is the end of the video. I appreciate you guys checking out. If you made it here, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Time to go ahead and get my cardio in. Appreciate you guys' time. Peace. See you guys in the next one.